Okay, let's do like an example. I'm going to try to set up my arc passive to the way that I thought it would be from all the resources I have. I double checked it. Now let's go over the basics, okay? Just like the video that I talked about last time, quality over 67 is max enlightenment points. So you need enlightenment points, and then you have evolution point, and then I did say 2-piece to 3-piece. It is like very recommended to move over because by the time you have 3 pieces, I have 95 points, so I can like, you know, allocate a bunch of points here, 40, and I can allocate points here. So if you have 3 tiers opened, you're basically like pretty much stronger or even. Since you open arc passive, you get to equip 1 more engraving on top of that. So by default, you're stronger if you just open it, if you haven't opened it. The biggest problem is the enlightenment point. The enlightenment points, you need to equip accessories to level up your engraving. So let's say if I want to go blue, I level up these ones. And it requires 24, 24, 24. And what's 24, 24, 24? That's 72. So you need at least 72 points in order for you to be exactly the same. Because leveling all these 3 is basically engraving level 1, engraving level 2, engraving level 3 on your class engraving. It's divided that. And if you get 80 points, which is 8 points on top of that, you get to level up your tier 4 engraving, which is the new stuff. The new stuff that you see from YouTube videos that you see. If you polish it, the big difference is this costs only like 60 fragments total. But ancient costs 450 fragments. It's huge. And 450 fragments is a lot. And what I mentioned on the last video is like you have to save your fragments as much as you can because you can only get a limited amount every day because it's 1 accessories that you obtain. So this is from like Behemoth, you run Egir, you run Chaos Dungeon every day, you run Guardians every day. And then I send additional accessories to my Gunlesser, which is 20 a day. That is also dismantled, so my Gunlesser has been accumulated 986 frags. So I can actually polish Ancients myself. So that is going to cost me 1200 G per tap. The bonus stats, all this stuff is plus alpha, as in like you're already strong and then you get to be stronger on top of this and you can work on this later because you're already so strong at the point to clear Egir and have a lot of DPS on top of that. Since I got 3 pieces and I've been like brainstorming how I could do it with the cheapest amount, and fragments are important and you can always resell ancient accessories, correct? So I was playing around on a spreadsheet. My combat level is plus 19s because I'm at 69. And I got the Una quest one, and I got the Adventure Tome one. I didn't get the field boss, so it's at 0. So if I get my ancient accessory on the necklace, I have 13, and I'll have 74 points. And what that is going to do is I can level up all my enlightenment engraving, and then I can choose one side note. If I spend a little more and switch these relic accessory to another ancient, it will be 12 instead, right? And then if I happen to get the field boss one, I'll be 82. So 2 ancients, I get to level up my tier 4 node and a side node. And I don't need to have full ancients for that. So I think that's pretty sick. So now, I've been going around auction house. And all you need to do is search by enlightenment points. And like I said, it's by 67. So as long as it's 67, it should be okay. Or you can just filter it by enlightenment point by 3. And then you can search for an earrings or something like that. And then these are all, see, the bare minimum is 67. So, and it gives you 3 enlightenment point. And it's like 899 gold. But I'm playing by a necklace because if you're going to be using your fragments, you always use it on your necklace or your ring because the stats on earrings are shit. That's one thing I learned here. So when you're planning to use your fragments to polish it for yourself, you always do it on the necklace or a ring. I'm gonna buy a necklace. I'm gonna see how much those are right now. These are 67 and 4,799, 9,000, 4,800, right? The quality is based on the enlightenment point, which is 67, and anything beyond that is strength. So if you go 100 quality, your strength is 15,357. If you all the way go down, it's 12,812. This is 67. This is the same 67, but it's 12,866. This is because you have less vitality, but you have more strength. So you actually have to find a good ratio. So for example, let's say this is 69 and it's 4,500. It's cheaper than this one. But how much strength is this? This is the 12,705, so it's smaller. And this one's 13,027 strength, but it's 5,800 gold. And this 69 quality one is 20,000, but it's 12,705 strength. So you have to filter these out. So like, don't get scammed by these stuff. That's what I learned here. So in this case, I think this 5,800 one, the 69 quality, I think I'm just gonna use this because 2,000 strength difference is actually not that much for like 100 quality versus like 69 quality. And the number 69 is nice. And just costs a lot of payouts. That's the worst thing. But the goal is to open Arkpassive. Our goal is to open Arkpassive. I don't think you can filter by strength. That's another issue. We actually recently got the filter for this one, the min-max one. So this is like legendary and this is medium. So when you polish, you get anything random out of this. Legendary is 0.7% each, and I think in my video I said like blue is like 6% and then the purple is like 3.6. Let me tell you something funny. I bought the necklace with 5,000 gold, right? If I polish and get a legendary unique asset, it jumps to 520,000 gold. So everyone's like gambling their minds out. This is why I've been saying this is where the big money is. And fragments are super important. And you always polish necklace, you always polish rings, because rings and necklaces have unique assets. And one of the unique assets is bonus damage and bonus damage to enemies. They're exactly the same thing. I don't know why, but they're kind of like separately calculated. You have the support one, which is identity gain, and then you have marking damage. I'm just gonna polish this all way so I can equip myself, okay? Oh, I got attack mid. Buy 5,000 gold, just 5 times its money immediately. What do you guys think about that? So now second pull is this. Now again, the reason why it's more expensive is because it's counting the fragments, because fragments is where everyone's hungry for. You're blocked by fragments and you only get so little per day. Obviously this is going to be super cheap in the future because everyone's going to be having it, but right now not many people can run egg gear, right? So that's what's happening right now. So I just do a second polish. I got mid attack power. I got mid. Wow. Okay, now last one. Now, as long as I don't get a support one, I'm fine. Yo, I got a low, but I got the unique DPS one. It doesn't even exist. I should be selling it, but you know, we're gonna try to set it up real quick because wearing it is not gonna take away our like the trade limit thing, right? Okay. Since I have a necklace now, I got what? 13 points. If I fill up everything to relic, I have 13 points now. If I fill up everything to relic, I should be 74 points, which will have me enable up to tier 3 so I can just swap. But what if I buy like another piece and then roll it and polish it? If I, let's say, buy a ring, I'll be 77. So I don't really need to do this because I can't enable T4 anyway unless I have the field boss stuff. For the relics, what are you gonna do? I have a bunch of ults, right? My Shadow Hunter is gonna be at 1660 for a while, and my Slayer is gonna be 1660 for a while, but my Gunslinger and my Artist is going to be 1680 soon, so they're saving fragments. My Bard is also gonna be switching soon, so I think they're gonna save fragments as well. When you were doing Chaos Dungeon, I've been saving accessories that are over 67 quality, the relic ones. And I polished it myself and I was selling it. So these are the examples of what people are doing to make some gold. So you polish it all the way, and what people do is they buy this for 20 peons and then they dismantle this, and since it costs 60 fragments total, you get 24 back. The rich people who want to polish the ancients for themselves, they buy it and then dismantle it. They do count like the peons and stuff. There's like this crazy calculation to like make it equal based on like what you roll. Like when you get really lucky, you sell to make money, right? So they kind of like buy back and forth. There's that too, but I'm not really smart for that kind of stuff. This also means that you can just straight up buy this and give it to your character. So my Gunlancer can actually buy these and then just equip it. But instead, what I'm going to do is I have 2 rings and I have an earring. And my Slayer also has an earring. So I'm going to polish it myself, which is the relics. And then I'm going to mail it to my Gunlancer and then my Gunlancer can just straight up wear it. But I can't send it today because you can only send 20 at a time. It counts one trade-off, but you get to enable Arkpassive pretty quickly on that. And I also showed you the price on it. Coming back, I decided that since I have 536 fragments already, and my goal is to have 2 pieces of ancients and then 3 pieces of relics, because if I do that, if I have 1 ring as ancient and then 1 neck as ancient, I have 77 points total, and one day, if I have good RNG and get the field boss points, I have 82. And what 82 points give me is I get to level up to T4, and I get to choose a side node. So my Gunlancer can technically front dash and then have a side node. The reason why my character had a lot of fragments is because I never used it since day 1. And I'm kind of using this to show you an example so that you guys don't make a mistake if I have to make a mistake right now. What I'm deciding to do is I'm gonna buy a ring and polish it myself. I think I'm just gonna buy a flat relic ring, which should only cost like 8,000 to 7,000 gold-ish, and you usually buy earrings for it. And I think that's fine because I wanted to save the fragments because I can always resell. And if you're 1680 character, you should always be polishing for ancients. You should never polish for relics because you can use other characters to do so. In order for me to enable Arkpassive in this session, I need to buy ancient accessory and then I need to buy relic accessories. Oh, maybe I should match 69 on all the ancient accessories. So yeah, remember 67 is the bare minimum, and then it's just strength differences. But you know, if you want to min max, you might want to get like higher quality accessories and then roll for them, and that's what people are going to do in the future. But right now, the most important thing to do is to enable Arkpassive, and I'm saying this multiple times because it's actually really valuable to enable Arkpassive. 9,273. And this is 68 quality, and this is 9,176, but this is 69 quality. You see the differences, right? So not many people know this. Like, there are more strength and less vitality, so you kind of want to buy those. So these are the higher. It's more heavily weighted to strength on this part. So I want to buy that one instead. Alrighty. And the reason why the ring is more important is ring has crit rate, crit damage, and it has support buff efficiency and support buff efficiency on identity and support buff efficiency on skills. Now see the first one, weapon power, but it's low. Oh, I got a support one. Thing I could do is I could just roll these 2 and then, you know, you could like sell it, because again, these are fragment prices, guys. These are fragment prices. The reason why it's so much more expensive is not just because it's free. It's like you're adding in fragment price. Fragments are really valuable, man. And for those of you who want to min-max, what's important is you guys search for things like, let's say, crit rate, and you put it at 1 legendary. And then it will be like this expensive. These are the lottery winners, because this gives you 1.5% crit rate, and it's a single liner. So when you get this single liner, whatever you get, you're fine. Basically, 1 single liner is efficient enough to actually justify just keeping it in, even though the other 2 lines are like absolute bad. And the crit damage is 4%. So these are we call them the single liners, the single legendaries. The single legendaries, and if you have it on all 5 pieces, you are very strong. For those of you who are like min-maxers, sometimes people will be posting accessories that are like legendary and they actually don't know the value as much, and you can just snatch it. So I can like buy this. 14,000? That gives you crit rate, but it's low. What about mid? 85k? Huge, right? Pretty expensive if you ask me. The efficiency between crit rate is like 0.5 for low, 0.95 for mid, and look at legendary, it's 1.55. It's like it's so heavily weighted to legendary. That's why 1 legendary line is super important. This is what I'm gonna do. I think I will buy this one and then polish the second liner myself and then see where I can go from there. And then I kind of run out of frags, huh? God, I got the support one again! I got the support one again! It's a good example, right? My necklace was good, my rings weren't so good. Well, anyways, that was the example. And I realized, since this is 8, when I do the calculation, 8, 8, 9, 9, 13, I have 72. So let me show you after I buy 2 blank relic ones. So you just buy blank earring ones, and then if you want a stat, you can always have something like, let's say I want percentage on attack power, you know, I want some more on the attack power plus, or you want weapon power, you know, you can choose premium stats because it's there. right? There you go. And then if I wear these two, and then if I wear my rings that I tried to... How much enlightenment points do I have? 72 points as I calculated. So if you have 72, you can just level these two. So I'm exactly the same as tier 3 level 3 engraving. And then I just have the evolution points, and then I have 5 engravings. You basically have an extra engraving that you can do, and then you have different sets of stats that you can have. Since I didn't really touch tier 4 node, I can just go red still because my gems are red. I just need to allocate points accordingly, and I'm fine. And this is the stats. Basically, this is increases 20% in crit rate and more damage, and allocate stats like I put on crit and I put it on swiftness. If I do that, I basically have the exact same red build, but arc passive. But I get to add in stabilized status on top of that, so it's 14% more damage. So I am technically stronger because the class engraving is exactly the same. If I polish more engines, if I level up, if I get the field boss thing today, I get to level up more nodes, which is nice. And if I finish egg year again, I get to be 4-piece, so I can level up more points. If I'm 5-piece, I get to level up more points. So you get to see like the natural transition. This is like a session to teach you guys like what the natural transition is, instead of like spending hundreds of thousands of gold and then just finish all ancients right away. You don't need to do that. You can just take step-by-step process. And as you can see, I have 38,000 gold. I think I spent like what, 50, but if you minus the Gamba session that I showed you, if I just go relic, and then just finish just finish 2 ancients, I would have more points to level up side nodes on top of that. Those are the stuff that you guys need to know, and then spend very smart. And also, if you're 1660, if you have full relics, so even if you don't have the field boss, you're at 72. Level 70 plus all relic accessory, it is still fine. And on average, it costs about 8,000 gold at the moment, and it's based on the fragment price. So when you're 1660, you can still park there and enable arc passive, because eventually you'll reach level 70. And if you just finish the side contests of the Una quest and the adventure tome, and if you happen to get the field boss really early because you're lucky, you can even be 65, level 65, and then you'll be able to enable arc passive. And if you get the field boss, you get to level up some side nodes, but you won't be able to level up T4 unless you have access to ancient. Hope that helps you, boys. And I think I'm just gonna be using this for a bit because it is an upgrade. Be a drastic change if you start enabling T4s and stuff. Okay, cool.